Hey, welcome to the client support Zoom. And we're just having so much fun in the March games. And hopefully, you guys know about the April games that start April 1st. And we're just so excited about that. It's just fun to have these ongoing games that help us kind of stay in that support mentality and help us stay on track with our health, whether we're losing weight or not. I joined as a maintainer this last month, and I just really like the support and the daily readings and videos and things to help me stay on track. So one thing that we wanted to talk about, a quick topic, and then I want to go around and just kind of get some feedback from you on the topic, if that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to, oh, that's good. Okay, so anyway, we're going to talk about this concept of living above the line, and I asked Jared to kind of tell you guys a few thoughts on it.
So we had an awesome opportunity to go out to Baltimore last week and spend some time with our mentors, our health mentors, our business mentors, at Dr. Anderson, the co-founder of Take Shape for Life and medical director. And we also had the opportunity to bring in a very special guest by the name of Marshall Thurber. Many people are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, Marshall was one of his rich dads. And he was also the apprentice to Buckminster Fuller, Dr. Edward Deming, who really revolutionized the auto industry in Japan with systems and processes. And Marshall talked to us about this idea of living above the line. Now, starting with what's below the line, this is what the world is really inundated with. Denial, excuses, blame. He also added the idea of shame. Oftentimes we shame ourselves like, oh, I'm not good enough, I lack skills, I lack the resources, whatever it is, and we shame ourselves into living this scarcity mindset.
I'm too busy.
I'm too busy.
Not smart enough.
So I can't get it done. And all those things become excuses. On the flip side, living above the line, taking responsibility for our own lives, Dr. Anderson calls this being the dominant force in your life. Accountability, taking ownership, and saying, you know what, it doesn't matter if my kids are crazy today, my wife is nagging me, which she never does, and taking ownership, those things don't mean that we can't get things done. They don't mean that we can't accomplish our goals or achieve what we want in life or with our health specifically. So an example of this is when we were coming back, we were flying back from Baltimore, and our 11-year-old son, he's a very good basketball player, plays on an accelerated basketball team, and I've been coaching him for a couple of years. He had 2 games on Saturday, one at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then they had an hour break, and then he had an 11 o'clock game. I told him very directly on the phone, Trent, you need to stay at the gym, because Amber's cousin was nannying for us, and she had to go to her own bridal shower. Kind of an important thing. So she had to take off. And I said, Trent, stay at the gym, and then one of your teammates, their parents are going to give you a ride home after the 11 o'clock game. Well, he was probably watching TV or playing video games or something when I was on the phone with him, and he didn't listen.
He's 11.
He's 11. So I'm kind of hard on him, though. And I'm like, Trent, I told you this. And he's like, I didn't hear you. And so this is 10 minutes before the 11 o'clock game, and he called and asked us, how am I going to get back to the gym? And so I was living below the line. I was blaming him for not listening and all these things. And I knew that it wasn't a good situation, so I actually handed my phone to Amber. I said, "Hey, live above the line here." So, but it allowed me to breathe for a few minutes and stuff, and realize that I made a huge mistake. And not only I told an 11-year-old this. 11-year-olds don't listen to everything, and I don't. I'm 40 and I don't listen to everything. So, but I made a huge mistake, and I didn't tell Amber's cousin, the nanny, to make sure that Trent stayed at the gym so that he would be there ready for the next game. Well, Amber called several of our friends to try to get him a ride back, and actually left it in Trent's hands. And he called several of our neighbors, and finally found one that could take him back to the gym at the high school. He was late for his game, but Amber left him with some responsibility, and he accomplished it. When we take responsibility, and even give responsibility to our children at age 11, it's kind of miraculous what they can do and what we can do when we just take responsibility and ownership for our own lives, and we really get what we want. I love the example of kids, because when kids want something, they are consistent, persistent, almost to the level of annoyance, and they're going to get what they want. So remember in our daily lives to kind of bring back the kid, bring out the inner kid in ourselves, because kids, they really do get what they want.
Well, and I think I'll stop sharing now, but it's so true that when we're taking responsibility, whether, think of this in terms of our health, or something specific with your health, like drinking your water. If you're living below the line, good job, Robin. If you're living below the line, you might say, well, I just, I don't have enough time to go to the bathroom while I'm at work, or, it's just like I don't have to drink that much water.
Or even, I don't like going to the bathroom that much.
Or I don't like the taste of water. Oh, if I just like the taste of water, then I would drink more water. Do you see how that's living below the line, and the shame, blame, justify, all these things, making excuses for why we don't do something? But if we're living above the line, we say, yeah, maybe I don't like the taste of water, but how am I going to change that? I'm probably just going to start drinking water. My body will get used to it, and maybe I'll start to like, or I'm going to put my mind to starting to like drinking water.
I can't think of anything else to drink. I don't drink sodas. I do have one cup of coffee, and then that's it. That's all I want.
Yep.
So
if the creator of the world just made water taste like coffee or Diet Coke, right?
Oh, no, I like water too.
So do I.
But other things, exercise. I'll be transparent with you guys, and because I'm going to ask you to be transparent in a minute, is that sometimes I live below the line on exercise. I say, boy, I work, and I'm so busy with work and with running kids around, or I'm so busy with this and that and the other that I just can't fit that exercise in. Except for when it's fun and I want to, when I want to go play volleyball, then I can go. But when it's going to the gym, I'm living below the line. And so that's somewhere where I'm trying to, live above, take responsibility. I didn't make it a priority. How can I expect my health to be optimized when I'm not making it a priority? And just take that responsibility, schedule it out in your calendar, and go. So I want, where in your life, and I know Robin's the only one off mute, but maybe the others will play along in a minute. Where's somewhere where you see that you want to change to live above the line rather than below?
Are you going to wait for somebody else?
Go ahead, Robin, and then the others maybe will join in.
Well, the challenge to turn off the computer at night, and I go to bed with the cell phone in my hand, so it was just like, oh man, I got to change that. Definitely change that. I wish I had a gym across the street. I just spent a week in Arizona with my daughter-in-law, and we went and worked out every other day, and it was fantastic. And I do miss that. But when I'm home, it's tough. I don't want to go down and work out in the garage with my husband. It's just boring. So I'm working on that. Hopefully the sunshine will come out and I'll ride my bike instead of having to wait for a stationary one.
Awesome.
But we walk 3 miles usually every other day. So just adding a little bit more is my goal.
Good. That's great. Okay, let's see. Can Lacey be off, or who's on the phone called in?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Amber? Okay, this is Camille. I called in
Camille.
on the phone. So I'm kind of like you. I love to exercise, but sometimes it's hard with kids or with busy schedules. And so right now I can't really exercise, but I have these special exercise I've been given from my doctor, who I go to every week to try to get this knee injury fixed. And they are hard exercises, and I hate them. And I have to do them every day. And sometimes I'll think, I'm so tired. I've been doing these faithfully. I'm just going to not do as many squats tonight or whatever. And I try to fudge it. But then I feel so guilty in the morning because I'm like, I'm just hindering my own progression. I'm not going to get healed as quickly. And that's with anything. If we live below the line, we're just hindering ourselves,
I love that.
So true. Isn't it funny? How the hard things are always the things we hate? It's like we love the easy things, right?
That is funny.
Yep. Thanks for sharing that, Camille. And let's see, Lacey, can you talk? Is that okay?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. One thing for me, I guess, is the meditation or quiet time, because I always feel like I don't have time for that, and I do. I just don't make time for it all of the time. So.
Awesome. No, that's good, Lacey. And sometimes it's like, if we accept it's almost just like a mind thing. Even if you haven't gone to the step of actually doing it yet, but just not accepting your own excuses anymore and just being like, yeah, I'm making excuses for that. Like, that's the first step of being able to, I think, really add it in and start doing it for real. Is just not accepting your excuses and saying, yeah, I am too busy to do that. Boy, if only my life would change. It's like, no, that's excuses. I could do it. And just not accepting that from yourself. That's the first step right there.
Yeah, I'm reading a great book right now called The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey Jr. And he talks about the first level of trust being self-trust. That you can trust yourself to do what you say you're going to do. He gives the example of he was working on a project one time that required him to work late into the morning, sometimes 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was committed to getting up at early in the morning, about 6 o'clock, to go to the gym and work out, focus on his health. And he said that he would turn on his alarm with the perfect knowledge when he went to bed at 3 a.m. that he was going to hit his snooze or turn his alarm off and stuff. And he's like, really quickly, within a few days of doing that, he's like, I stopped even turning my alarm off because I could not trust myself. And he's like, he talks about that. He's like, even if you don't follow through perfectly all the time, he said, just being aware of those things in your life will help you start to trust yourself more and follow through on your commitments. And he said, so I made a goal there. He's like, I knew that it was really unrealistic to get up at 6 a.m. He's like, but I could get up at 8 a.m. and go to the gym. So he simply changed his commitment. He was still going to commit to his health, but he just changed the timing so that he could follow through on that commitment that he had made to himself. And he's like, and immediately within a few days of doing that, he's like, I had regained my trust in myself that I was going to follow through with that.
That's so good. Yeah, living above the line with yourself, with your kids, with your health program, whatever it may be, in your job, whatever work that you do, it's really something that affects your whole life. So, All right. Thanks for being on, you guys. It was awesome. Thank you,
Glad I made it.
Aaron.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, Robin and Camille and Lacey, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys took some time out of your day. And we recorded this for all of posterity and for the rest of the team to utilize. Okay, see ya. Have a good day, you guys.